I was your age, they would say we could become cops or criminals. Today, what I'm saying is this. When you're facing a loaded gun, what's the difference?
What up? Mitchell Griffith here with Griffith Goods and Spirits. Today, we've got one of the best mob movies of all time. We're also celebrating a little bit of St. Paddy's Day, and it's my wife's favorite movie. As we always do, let's start with the cocktail.
World needs plenty of bartenders. 2 weeks with pay. Good.
Today, we've got a Cranberry Smash.
It's a natural diuretic. My girlfriend drinks it when she's got a period. What, do you get your period?
You're gonna start off with a handful of ice. And then 1.5 ounces of vodka. 4 ounces of cranberry juice. 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice. Always make sure you're squeezing your fresh lime juice. And 1 ounce of simple syrup. And then you're gonna get about 8 mint leaves. Toss these in here. Oh, and give it a fun little shake. All right. And then you're gonna wanna double strain this just so you don't get any mint pieces in there as well. And then garnish with a lime wheel.
Get him a cranberry juice.
Let's start the microchips. We've got our mandolin on the thinnest slice, and you're just gonna wanna go ahead and cut these into your little bowl of water here. It gets all the starch off so that your potatoes will be nice and crispy. We've got all of our potatoes sliced, and you want them to be about this thin. Almost paper thin, you can almost see through it. And now we're just gonna toss as many of them as we can onto our drying rack and pat them dry with a paper towel. All of our microchips are cut and ready, and we dried them just so that whenever you toss them in the oil, that they'll fry up real nice and crispy. Let's go ahead and add just a handful of these chips, and just gonna go ahead and separate them all out. Our oil's at 350 degrees. These are nice and golden brown. The way that you can really tell that they're done frying is they won't be bubbling as much as whenever they first did. You're just going to grab as many of these as you can, give them a good shake off, knock off as much of that oil as you can.
What do you want, almost fitness freaks, huh? Go fuck yourself.
But you still want a little bit on there, because whenever you add your seasoning, you want it to be able to stick to your potato chips. What we're using today is just a little bit of parmesan, a little bit of salt, and some black pepper. We've got our potato chips drying on the drying rack after we finished frying them, tossed them in our seasoning. Now we're gonna do some butter poached lobster tails.
They didn't figure we had a Navy.
We've got 4 cups of butter.
Francis, you really should see somebody.
For these lobster tails. You're just gonna lay them flat in here. We've got them going at 210 degrees, and I'm gonna toss the lid on these and let these cook while we're doing the sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and grab about 5 to 10 pickles here and just give them a rough chop. They don't need to be anything too crazy. Add them to this bowl. I've got a cup of mayo here that we're gonna drop down into this bowl as well. I've got some fresh dill that we're gonna add. You're just gonna give this a really fine chop here and toss about 1 stalk worth of dill into your mayo. And then we're gonna juice 1 whole lemon in here. Make sure and cover it with your hand just to save from getting any seeds in this. And then lastly, I'm gonna toss in just 2 stalks of celery. Just give these a nice fine chop just to add a little bit of crunch to your lobster rolls. We pulled all of our lobster tails from the butter and we're gonna let them rest for a hot second before we toss them into the sauce. We're gonna add just a little bit of salt and pepper, just about a pinch. You still want that mayo to come through, but you also want to give it a little bit of depth of flavor. Just salt and pepper to taste. And I'm gonna toss the buns in the oven to toast up. All right, and this is what your lobster tail is gonna look like whenever it's done. It's got a nice little curl here, but it's not curled up into a ball.
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Everything's done. We've got our buns toasted, our chips are fantastic, we've got our sauce here. Easiest way to get your lobster tails out is just get a pair of kitchen shears or scissors and just cut it all the way back to the bottom of the tail. And that lobster tail is just gonna fall right out. And then you're just gonna give it a cut down the middle and just slice it into about 1/4-inch cubes, just big enough that you know that you're still getting some lobster. Add it to your bowl, mix it around with some of your sauce. All right, last but not least, we've got our lobster rolls ready, and I'm gonna top it with just a little bit of green onion. And now you're ready for family dinner. I'll fish them out at the end. There's garlic on my foot. I'm gonna add the juice from about half a lime in here.
Don't laugh!
Okay, so we pulled all of our rock lobsters. We pulled our rock lobsters.